Today I'm going to show some records that I picked from the last three hauls from the videos, my last videos from those thrift stores and the bookstore, Grassroots, Salvation Army, that I did not show because I've had a lot of records. And so that's what I'm going to show today, and I'll be with you in just a moment. And so I really picked a lot of records in the last 2 to 3 weeks. And I have a whole stack here. I'm going to get through this and show you. And there are going to be some cassettes in the middle, just a few, that I'm really excited about. And let me get started right into this with, now this is at thrift stores, this is an artist that I pass by constantly. And when I saw this, I just knew this was going to be good. And this is from 1967. And this is, yes, believe it or not, this is Al Hirt. And this is Soul of the Horn from 1967. And this is soul, blues, popular. This is one of the best recordings I've ever heard of him. And now I want to know the other Al Hirt records that are really cool, you know, because he did a lot of commercial stuff, you know, and that's what you know, killed it for me with Wes Montgomery, is all the strings that they layered on with the great Wes Montgomery, the great jazz guitarist. Al Hirt, New Orleans born, and he passed away in New Orleans as well. And there he is, Honey Lips himself. And he pretty much, with trumpet, he owned the 60s. Of course, you know, Lee Morgan and everybody, I mean, that's just different. But for popular music and jazz, yes, Al Hirt. And I love this cover in the shrink on RCA Victor. Again, I rarely would buy an Al Hirt record. And there we go on RCA. But this is really enjoyable. I streamed it. I spun it. Man, it's really good. Now, here's another one that I just didn't show in the last few weeks for my Thrift Store Finds Monday. And that's, guys, that's from Cleveland, Ohio, the Dazz Band. I mean, this is funky, R&B. This is just great, great music. I've never had anything by Dazz Band, and Let the Music Play. Here's the songs, is the one. This is just a great, great album. And next up, this is just flat out cool. I used to see this artist on Austin City Limits a long time ago, and that's the great Delbert McClinton. And here, let me just go ahead and show you first. I mean, this is just amazing. He has Roger Hawkins on here, David Hood, Reese Winan, right? From Double Trouble, from, well, not Double Trouble, but from Stevie Ray's band, the keyboard player. Shotgun Rider, I Can't Quit You, Giving It Up for Your Love, The Jealous Kind, Bright Side of the Road, the Van Morrison cover, and he covers Al Green's Take Me to the River. So the great Delbert McClinton, The Jealous Kind, screaming good pick for me. And this is interesting. Check this out. This is on Capitol, and there's that little specialized logo on the side. Now here's a record, could not believe this, Sealed. Let me read the artist. Here's one of the greatest vocalists of the 50s, 60s, 70s. And, you know, he has Dizzy Gillespie, he has Bird on here, Charlie Parker, Fats Navarro, Gene Ammons, Dexter Gordon, Bud Johnson, Tommy Potter, Art Blakey on drums, and that's Billy Eckstein. And, you know, when my mom appeared here in town, you know, Billy was often at the Golden Hotel way, way, way back in the day. I mean, I was just barely, you know, probably 2-3 years old, but in the late 50s, and absolutely stellar vocalist. And here's Billy. If you don't know Billy Eckstein, one of the great vocalists of all times. And this, I paid $1 for this. This is sealed. Look at this. Beautiful copy. And this is on Enterprise. Let me show you the logo for the label. And this is, there's a cutout here. And so, and this is on Stax. I'm not going to bust this out. I mean, I have a lot of great records to enjoy, but when I do, I'm sure I'll spin both sides. And I did stream a little bit. It's just outstanding. Now, when these records are this clean, especially in the last 2-3 years, I don't pass these up. And this is Whipped Cream and Other Delights in the shrink. This is in stereo. Beautiful. Yes, the great Herb. And there she is. You know, I know you guys know who the gal is on the cover. I always forget. You know, one of the most iconic record covers ever. And on his own label, A&M, Alpert and Moss, Jerry Moss. Now, next up, I mean, here's another Stax record, and I just could not believe this was here. There's a little cutout here. This is John Gary Williams. And this is good, man. This is a great record. Let me show you the tracks here. And I'm, you know, much less familiar with him, but when I saw this, I knew I had struck gold. John Gary Williams on Stax. Let me show you the Stax label. There we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you. I was at Salvation Army, and there are just some sweet cassettes. And what I do with cassettes, I get, you know, I'll get a new one in the shrink and pay the 50 cents or whatever. Well, I get a discount, 45 cents. And I'll put a beautiful new jewel case around it. For instance, here's Good Vibrations, Best of the Beach Boys. And this is in a brand new jewel case, you'll see. Brand new. This had the shrink on it. And then I always make sure with my cassettes that they're not all beat and worn out where the print is all worn away. I generally don't want that. So this is just a great Beach Boys comp on cassette. And I'll just go through these so you can see. And I love my cassettes. I really do. I have a setup in the garage, and when I mow the lawn or if I'm out there, I pop a cassette in, and I really do listen to them. And I just turn up the volume. That's all you have to do. And first of all, REM, Automatic for the People. Next up, one of my all-time favorites is Green by REM. Such a great album. And I wore one of these out in the Caribbean. Listen to it. Orange Crush, Hair Shirt. What is it? Remembering California? Yeah, pop song, 69. I Remember California. Yeah, I remember. It's still there. And, you know, got to be my favorite, Murmur. REM Murmur. And, of course, these are all on IRS. And next up, this album, for a long time, it got a lot of criticism. Here's REM's Monster. And then it was realized to be such a great record. And it really is. There's at least 5 great tracks on there. I love REM, Athens, Georgia. And then Fables of the Reconstruction, REM. And once again, let me show you how clean these are. They're just minty. And I love it. And just 4 more. Here's A Momentary Lapse of Reason, Pink Floyd. And some of these I already have other copies of, and also in new jewel cases. But I just couldn't pass these up. They broke down to 45 cents. And then with the new sealed jewel, I have about just under $1 for each of these. This Etta James, Life, Love, and the Blues. I mean, she does Born Under a Bad Sign, baby, on this one. This is just killer. And look at this, Alice in Chains, Sap. Yeah, I know, they did a reissue of this one, but I have it on cassette. And next up, T.O.P., Back to Oakland, my very favorite Tower of Power album. And, I have this on vinyl. I have it on CD and cassette. So I have 2 of these on cassette. Love this. All right, back to the vinyl. Here's something that I really found. This is there's 2 records in here that I found quite a long time ago. But when I found Amadeus, just outstanding. Really, really great. Wonderful, wonderful. And Piano Concerto 25 is my all-time favorite. Milos Forman, the director of the film, was a customer of mine at Le Petit Pier at North Shore Lake Tahoe. And he would come in. He was so kind to me. He'd call me by name. I took care of him several times. And at that time, he was directing, I forget what he was directing. It was in the, he had just finished this film, actually, and won all kinds of awards for it. So Amadeus, this is the only classical album I'm going to show, and it has a very specialized label, which I will show you. Here we go. And I have been showing a little bit of classical music lately because, when we're inundated with this much music, you just get burnout. Like Mike from the In Groove out of Arizona, he says the same thing. He mixes it up. I just do that naturally. I'll switch from jazz to metal to rock to new wave to punk rock. I'm just all over the place, and it really makes it enjoyable, and it stays fresh because I just have to listen to music. I mean, I'm obsessed. And this Roger Miller, yeah, Tuco, I had to get this one. I'd never had this. I mean, he does. Hey, Good Lookin' on here. Hank Williams, Green Green Grass at Home, one of my all-time favorite songs. And what else does he do? Ruby, Don't Take Your Love to Town by the great, great Roger Miller on Smash. And here's that. I'm always going to show a Smash label because I love it. Now, there's only a couple records that are worn, but this is the debut from the great Brian Auger, and this is Oblivion Express. This is from 1971. This thing sounds great. Really fantastic. Jazz, fusion, rock, just cool. You got Robbie McIntosh on here, Jim Mullen, Barry Dean, of course, Brian Auger, and this is on the Dynaflex RCA. That's another reason why it just sounds so good. The floppy, the very thin. Now this is a sealed record. This is from my friend's secondhand store, and I didn't pay much for this. This is Alex DeGrassi, Southern Exposure. I love this Windham Hill title. Of course, Michael Hedges is my favorite, but on here, Western at 4 minutes and 2 seconds is just, I've listened to that song, especially back in the late 80s, over and over and over. I just have memories. I've just loved that acoustic piece. And I believe Bernie Grundman mastered this particular record. Sealed. Now I have this on cassette. I have it on CD. And this is a Tower record that is still sealed. And I visited with my friend Ted. He's an ex-Tower record manager, especially from the Anaheim store and the Reno, Nevada store too. Amazing guy. I went into his home. I'm gonna have to film his home because the entertainers that he has met, I can't even tell you. Signed Deep Purple, everybody signed it. Jerry Garcia signed it to Ted. Amazing. His home, his walls are just filled. Very, very cool. Now, this is the second time I found this record, and the A-side on this record is just a mind blower. And that's George Thorogood. This is Move It On Over. And this A-side, you have Move It On Over, Who Do You Love, The Sky Is Crying, Cocaine Blues, and It Wasn't Me. I mean, come on, man. Look at that. And this is on Rounder Records. Rounder Records. I love this. I love this label. Love it. Beautiful, beautiful label. Look at that. Oh man, $1. And again, all these records, I didn't pay over $1.50 for 85% of these, and a few of them I just paid, I don't know, $3 or $4 for my friend's secondhand store. Now, just such a great producer and musical promoter, and that would be, and this is mastered by Chris Bellman and Bernie Grumman. And guys, this is T-Bone Burnett. Bernie and Chris Bellman have mastered this. This is a gold stamp promo, and this is on Dot. And this is about my favorite T-Bone Burnett release. Oh, and this is from Savers. This was $2. And check this out, guys. Atlantis is on here, and this is Donovan. Very clean copy. This one will beat out my older Donovan copy. I really like this one. And in my old band, we used to perform Atlantis. That was really fun to play. And Simply on Epic. Now, reunited 'cause it feels so good. Peaches and Herb. I found this 2 days ago. So great. Oh, no, I paid 25 cents for this, guys. It's at a thrift store just 4 doors down from where I work. And there's that great hype with Reunited. I could have done a little better rendition of Reunited. Shake Your Groove thing, and We Got Love. And there's the duo. The deadly duo right there. Peaches and Herb. And yeah. Now, you know, when the going gets tough, you get some Billy Ocean. And this is sealed. This was also from Savers. Yeah, from Savers. $2. Scored on this one. I mean, look at that. Sealed. And hey, Tuco, man, I got to tell you, I got your jam. Here's Loverboy right there. And this is off of Billy Ocean's Suddenly. And this is, I scored this one actually about a year ago, but I had to show this one because I was watching Tuco's channel, The Vintage Vinyl Hunter, and I own Shotgun. Yeah, I ride shotgun with him on his videos. Well, in my mind anyway, because I'd love to go picking with that guy. And we would do all right. We would share. And if he ever came out here, I'd definitely share. So now, Michael McDonald. This has, I keep forgetting on it. You know, and there was a time when, you know, everybody wanted Michael McDonald, and then they wanted to sing like him. Either way, I know, yacht rock, whatever. But, shucks, it's good. It's good music. I like everything. Now check this Ventures out. This is nice. Ventures in Space. Very, very, very clean. There's the boys in the band. And we know what city that is. That's LA. And lastly, 2 records, guys. This is one of the very few records that I got from a long time ago, and that's on Verve, the Oscar Peterson collection. There's so much on here, and my mom, whenever she was entertaining in Montreal in about 51, that's 1951, she would stop in at Oscar Peterson's club, and here's on the beautiful, perfectly minty Verve label, the great Oscar Peterson. And lastly, 2 of my favorite all-time rock and roll singers would be Bon Scott and a singer from this little band from out of the UK, and that would be Humble Pie, and that would be Rockin' the Fillmore, Steve Marriott. Yeah, Steve Marriott. Yeah, Bon Scott, Bon and Steve. I mean, that pretty much does it for me. Well, guys, thanks for hanging in there. That was a lot of music, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm going to do a new vinyl buys for this Thursday. Cheers.